I have
This
15 plus,
conference will now be recorded.
like I have 15 plus years of experience in SAP, and in SAP MDG I have done almost 5 to 6 end-to-end implementations, and that also in MDG material, finance, MDG BP. So I act as a techno-function, or you can say as a solution architect. I work as a solution architect for SAP MDG. Okay, fine. So I'll give you the demo on what is MDG, what's the use of MDG, and how by implementing MDG, how it brings the benefits to the organization. Once, so once you all are able to see my screen, let me know. Can you see my screen? Sharing your screen.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, good. So, like, what is MDG? MDG is something where we are using master data. So we are governing the master data. That's why we say MDG, master data governance. So as of now, SAP has given us different products like MM, that is material, vendor and customer, that is BP, because now we are not in ACC environment, we are in S4HANA environment, and by 2025 or 2027, all the ACC product will be gone and we will be in S4HANA. So that's why the vendor and customer will be coming under BP, and finance will remain the same. So these are the three predefined data model that we will be getting, or we have in SAP MDG, and this all master data we are going to govern. So when we say govern, so govern will include the governance. The govern will include the workflow process. So in MDG, we'll be mostly dealing with the workflows, like who will be the approver, what, and who are the suppose there are different materials or different vendors or different customers. So once you create a vendor and customers, based on there are different logics that we introduce when we go further in MDG. So we introduced like, okay, if this is a vendor, then who will be the person to approve this? Like we have this account group. Based on the account group, we determine. So it depends on company to company, client to client, like who will be the approval process. So when we say governance, so the governance will include your workflow. And for master data, we are, as I said, we are going to have three standard products, predefined data model, that is material, vendor or customer, that will become as a BP, and finance. And so when we install MDG, like in the organization, some organization, they are still not using SAP. They want to go, like you might have heard about different types of implementation, greenfield, brownfield, and some go for the upgrade and all. So if some organization does not have any SAP systems, so there are ways to install SAP MDG. So how it will install MDG? So there are two types to install SAP MDG. We say standalone hub environment, or we say on top of ERP, or the co-deployment. So these are the type of ways we install MDG for in the organization. And the latest version that we have in SAP MDG is 9.2. That every client, whoever is going for upgrade, so some minimum they will be having at least MDG 8.0 in every organization. That is the minimum version that we'll be using, or all the organization, mostly 60 to 70%, they will be having this MDG 9.2, because now the latest version that is coming is MDG 10.0. So that will include your cloud version, as everywhere we are going for the cloud. So MDG also is going to come in the cloud version. But that it's not only cloud, it will include your on-premises as well as the cloud version. Both version will be available in MDG 10.0. So whenever we work in MDG, so these are the main components that we consider when we work: data modeling, UI modeling, process modeling, data quality, search application, replications, and data transfer. So this all technology, these all tools in the backend are designed under ABAP technology, that is a SAP programming language. So that is ABAP. So but ABAP, they design under ABAP, but this process, it's a configurable process where who has the business knowledge in SAP MDG, they can go for ahead and they can configure the process. So here the role that takes place is 60 to 70%. 60 you can say as a tech functional consultant, that they are going to design or they are going to understand the business. They will get the requirement from the business, and based on that they are going to design the process. So when I say when we say governance, we need one specific place to govern all the data, all the attributes, all the table. So that's why they have built like data modeling concepts they have introduced. In the data modeling concepts, what we are doing, we take all the table, all the whichever a table that we'll be using in SAP MDG, and all the attributes that we'll be using in SAP MDG are all governed at one place, and that place is called as a data modeling. All the front end, whichever the front end the user will be using, that is under UI modeling. All the process, all the business process that we'll be using, that comes under process modeling. All the quality, so in order to check the quality of your data, like whether you have filled the required data or not. So some data like auto derivation also some takes place, like we don't want the user to fill the data, we want business based on the business logic automatically derive or fill the data, so that there are less chances of data is accurate and the less chances of data inconsistency. So that features also is there for data quality. And in order to make the life of the user to in life of user to make easy, we have the search application, so that if the user knows, or if they want to create search some material and do some change, like some supplier or some customer, they want to search and perform the extension to the new purchase org or new sales org, new company code, so they can directly search if they know the name, then also they can search. If they know the BP, if they know the supplier number, then also they can search. So there are different search methods that also we have. And replication is something that, as I said, replication is that you want to send your data from one system to another system, like maybe SAP systems or maybe non-SAP system. So this comes under replications, because once if you are in the hub deployment, or if you are in a top, if you are on top of operational ERP, or you can say co-deployment options. So when we are in the co-deployment option, there is no need for replication, because both your S4 and your MDG is in the same system. So there is no need for replication. But whenever you are in a hub system, you have your MDG different server, and your S4 HANA, your business system for transactional as a different server. So that time they need your master data to be moved to your transactional system. So that's why we do the replications. So we'll see here in more details what are the replication methodology, how to do configure. So these are all the inbuilt features that we have in SAP MDG, and all are SAP product, not distributed product. Like in SAP MDM, when we were using SAP MDM, NetWeaver MDM, it were all the product were distributed, and it was not on ABAP platform, it was on Java platform. So in SAP MDG, everything is under ABAP platform, and it's all our integrated products. So you don't have to face any issue like when we are replicating a data, or when we are moving the data from one server to another server. I'll take a pause here. Any question, guys?
Prem, so in MDG, what is the percentage of technical? I mean, how much percentage of it is technical, and what's the
As I
remaining?
said, 60-40 ratio is there. 60 functional, 40 technical.
Okay.
So, but when I say functional, so functional has a more role to play, because even though they have the 60%, but they have the more role to play, because they are the one who will understand the business, and they are the one who is going to gather the requirement from the business. Technical is something that yeah, ABAP person who for in order to become a technical consultant, they must know the basics ABAP OPS concept. Then they can become the tech. They can work on SAP MDG technical consultant.
Okay. And what about SAP MDG Customer Master? Um, how much would of that would be technical and functional?
So when I'm talking about 60/40, it's about all the data model. It's not about one product. It's about MDG as a whole.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other question, guys? Okay. So I'm moving to the next slide. So what benefits when you are implementing MDG in your organizations? What are the benefits that you will be getting? The first thing is that governance, and this is something which I explain you that as soon as you implement MDG, you are going to govern your data. So initially, what happens, like as everyone is aware about how SAP MDG works, SAP works. So initially, whenever someone creates any material or any customer or any vendor, so what they do, as soon as they enter, they enter some details, and no one is going to validate the data whether you have made whether you have filled incorrect data, whether the data what you have filled is correct, whether you are creating a duplicate data. No one is going to validate that. So as soon as you click on save button, your data gets saved in your database. And whenever the person, whoever the business tries to use, that time he finds, oh, there are some inconsistency in the data. So there is a time gap, means the wastage of your time, that whenever the business is trying to fix or trying to use, that time you are getting to know that your data is incorrect. So what MDG gives you the benefit that you don't get at the last moment whether the data is correct or incorrect. You will be getting your notifications or your validation of a data at the very beginning and the start of the creation only, so that whatever data comes in your system are the pure data without any inconsistent data, whatever is required for a business. So whenever the business tries to use, he is not facing any issue. So that's why we have some benefits, say governance, consistent data, and as I said, we have all the product, whatever we are using, they are integrated product. So that also that limitation is gone. That everything is built on ABAP, and whenever you're using SAP technology, so it's easily integrated with all the modules. So because SAP understands SAP language, so there is no issue in understanding the structure or the differences between them. And also we have given us the SAP has given us a reuse concept. So reuse concept, like initially if you are in SAP and your customer wants to move to the new product in SAP only, then whatever the implementation or enhancement that you had used for last, maybe you may have used SAP for last 20 years or 15 years. So now you are moving from SAP ECC to S4HANA. So it doesn't mean that you have to scrap everything what was there. So SAP has given the concept that whatever is there, and if you think that is useful for you, and SAP is not giving you that solution as a standard solution, then you can customize your solution also. So that's why we have this reuse concept also. And finally we have even a data quality. Initially, we in order to validate your data, there was no tool associated, but now we have a data quality tool that's like duplicate check. When you are creating your data, as soon as you create your data, so initially there was no tool as such to say that you are creating a duplicate data. But now during the time of creation only, at the very beginning, you can tell the system or the requester that you are creating a duplicate data. So if the user says, oh, I'm creating a duplicate data, he can stop there, then and there. Or if he wants to go ahead, then he can go ahead, but the exception will come every level, at every step, and saying that you are creating a duplicate data, so that even the approver is aware that what I'm doing, or if I'm approving, that I'm approving a duplicate records in the system. So that's why we have this data quality concept also. So these are the benefits when you install SAP MDG in your organization. So these are the benefit that we'll get. And these are the capabilities that we have in SAP MDG. So the out of the box functionality also, we have integrated object model, we have reuse and extensibility, robust data replication, which I told you that you can replicate your data to any system, that whether it's SAP or non-SAP systems. And also you have this data quality data which is covering your data quality also. So it's an integrated tool, so you don't have to worry how to control the data quality. Like I said, so this is just the overall, and this is something that brings you out of the box technology. So best practices, we have process transparency, we have, like when, as I said, workflow. And when you are using SAP MDG, you know where your workflow is, where your data is. It's if it is if it is what to say, whether it's approved or rejected, what is missing. So every at each level you have your transparency in your whatever activity you perform. So even during the audit purpose also, you will get it very easily, the report whatever you have done. So so we are, by implementing SAP MDG, you are what to say, you are getting the benefits that even in audit purpose you don't have to worry that, oh, I have to go and get this report, that report. SAP MDG gives you the standard reports, where you can just download by giving one click, that okay, I want to download all the change requests that has been activated in this financial year, or who has created sometimes suppose something is gone wrong and you want to check, you want to do the audit, that who has created this request, what activity has been done, so that within a click you can understand that okay, this was the activity that was taken place, and because of this changes has happened. So everything, auditing, and due to which you get the better benefits. And the standard data model that we are going to have, that SAP has given us, this is finance, as I said. So in finance, we are going to have chart of account, GL account, cost element, cost center, profit center, cost center hierarchy, profit center hierarchy. So this all are under finance. And material, we have as a standard object, whatever you do in MM01, MM01, 2, 3, whatever activity you do, so everything will be available in the material. And for supplier and customer, so this will be under BP. So all the data that is going to be handled. So these are a standard data model that we are going to that is going to be in our provided by SAP. Moreover, SAP has introduced one new concept that is called as we are going to have MDG as a governance product. So we don't store your data directly in your table. We store the data in a staging area, that is temporary storage place, so that if there is any issue or inconsistency, you can directly wipe off the data. You don't have to worry how to delete the data, because SAP has something that once you are creating the data, you cannot delete the data, because master data is very in order to delete it is very tough to delete your data. So but if it is a temporary table, you are good to go, good to delete the data, so that it is not affecting your database table. So that's why they have given the concept of staging area. It is a temporary staging area, is a temporary place where you store the data till the time all your process gets completed. Once the process gets completed, then it will move from your temporary table to the main table. So that's why this concept has been introduced in SAP MDG. I'll take a pause here. Any question, guys? Okay, no question. So this is something like when we are using SAP MDG, how you can use the SAP MDG product. So something you can enhance, you can without enhancement, if you need, if your standard fulfills your requirement, then also you are good to use SAP MDG. If standard does not fill your requirement, then also you are good to use SAP MDG, because you can create your own, like how we have in SAP the other enhancement and all. So even in SAP MDG also we have the enhancement. You can build, you can design, or you can create your own process. So there is no limitation as such. If standard fulfills your requirement, you are good to go. You can directly install the product and you can start using the product. This is the high level architecture of SAP MDG. So SAP MDG is going to use, we have this tool, the front end NWBC, that is NetWeaver Business Client, or we have now the Fury Workbench, that I think Fury Launchpad. Many organization, if it is not in, so whoever in S4HANA, they are using this Launchpad, Fury Launchpad, and who are yet to be used, they are yet to go on S4HANA, they are using NWBC. So as of now, this both front end is are applicable. So we have this NetWeaver front end as the for the end user who is going to create a customer or vendor or material or finance. So for them, we have this NetWeaver Business Client, NWBC we say, and Fury Launchpad. So so these are the high level diagram where you can see how it's getting connected. And this diagram shows how we implement what I said as a co-deployment. When we implement MDG in the organizations, what does co-deployment means, or what does hub deployment means? So hub deployment is something that you have a separate, everything separate, and whatever data you are going to use, you are going to send the data to respective system who wants to use the data. Whereas on top of ERP or core deployment, you have both SAP, your transactional data or the master data in the same system, and then you move the data to this. So these are the benefits for master data. Again, is same
Yeah,
here what I.
sorry, friend. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Could you please go back one slide up? So you mentioned like hub and co-deployment. Okay. So I just trying to understand. So when you say SAP MDG and it's a central hub, again, is it still is it on top of ERP or S4HANA MDG, or it's a single device? What do you call environment?
Single environment, separate environment.
So you mean to say, if, for example, if you take any account groups, okay, if I want to create account group, I should create in SAP MDG um, or in SAP ECC.
Good question. So what happens whenever we have like this configuration? Okay, so we ask the requester or the consultant to configure in SAP MDG, and we move through SLT or through transport, through Solman, we move the changes to S4, or vice versa. We ask to do in one environment, and through Solman, it either it get moves to S4 or either it get moves to MDG. Either way,
Okay,
because
so you mean to
MDG will,
say,
yeah,
yeah. So for configuration part, everything will be done in either in S4HANA or ECC, whatever it is, right? Not in directly in MDG.
yes.
Mm, okay. Then why the difference has come here, central hub or co-deployment?
See, what the main benefits what we get when we have the hub deployment is that your downtime or dependency, this all get reduced if anything goes wrong. Because if suppose when you are going for the co-deployment, if any time your product needs an upgrade, so
Mhm.
suppose any other MDG needs an upgrade, that means if you are going for a downtime, your whole system is going down. Okay,
Okay.
But when you are in the separate, when you are in a hub deployment, if MDG needs an upgrade, you are not dependent on other. You can directly go for an upgrade and you can move your changes till production. That is the
Okay.
one benefit that you get. Second thing is that the downtime is also decreases, because as you are independent, you are liable that okay, only one changes, only one patch is there for upgrade, so I can take it quickly and I can say that my system is up. And
Mhm.
more benefit is that when you have a different environment, like you have the S4 data in Asia, Asia system. If you have your S4 data, S4 system in US, if you have the S4 data in Europe, now you want your data to be segregated. Like based on the country, your data should be available in respective system.
Yeah.
Then S4 in this co-deployment does not filter your data because everything is available for everyone. But here you can filter your data based on the country, based on region, whichever the filter you want, you can filter your data.
Okay.
So that is the main benefit that we get when we do in the hub deployment.
Okay. So yeah. My next question is majorly like all the organization. I just want to know from you, like, okay, um, uh, which I mean for the customer perspective, which is best or suggestible from the our consultant perspective, how we can suggest to the customer is SAP MDG or the combination of MDG and ERP
No, so whenever we suggest the best practice is go for the hub deployment.
hub deployment.
Okay,
Okay,
that is a suggestible option, but the client they said now it depends on, we give the pros and cons on both the environment. Say what this
correct.
if you are going with this, if you are going with this. Now it's a client, because it's a client who is going to invest on the server. Infrastructure cost increases over here, but infrastructure costs is not available over here, because already they have incurred the cost. Now they
Yeah.
have just to buy the license and they can start using it, but here
Okay.
they have to bear the infrastructure cost.
Okay, okay. So, okay, now I understood. So, whoever existed customers already have ECC, so they go with the second option, co-deployment.
No, the don't so that is not a generic statement that everyone goes. It depends on the budget,
Okay,
financial
okay.
cost, how
Yeah,
much
yeah,
they have.
understood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Prem. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, any other question, guys? Okay, so as I said, the main component that we are going to have in SAP MDG, these are the one which I explained in the previous slides. And this will be like once we start the training, then these are the topics, but this is on the very high level. Inside the topic, inside the this course, this one will say these are the main topic. Inside this main topic there will be a subtopics that will be covered, so accordingly we'll take it forward. So these are the very high level topic that we have uh, that I have shown you here. Okay, so I think so this is just a summary of how MDG will bring the benefits to the organization. So anyone has any questions? So that's a demo from my side. Anyone have any question they can ask?
Yeah,
Uh,
Prem, I just need to know. Sorry, sorry, Mariam. Prem, I just want to know. See, I didn't see any process flow. Actually, what, and so what I mean to say, yeah, the flow. Like, what is the workflow actually for MDG?
So so this is a process flow that will be taking place when we are working in SAP MDG. Okay. So the workflow that we use here is BRF plus. That is a business rule framework, and we say this as a configurable workflow also. Okay, if you see here, this is from configurable workflow. So that is the concept that we are going to use, not your ABAP workflow. It's a configurable workflow because, as I said, the functional has to configure without any technical expertise. So it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
simple,
anyway, I'm
yeah,
looking for functional only, not for technical perspectives. So
yes.
I want,
That's why
um,
we have this configurable workflow where it's a simple yes, no, go from this step to that step, simple step configuration.
okay, okay, yeah,
I
yeah,
have a
thanks.
question.
Yeah.
Prem, related to this, okay. When it comes to a role in the company, okay, so SAP MDG governance, how the roles are defined in an organization, what kind of roles will be there in an organization, and in that perspective, is there any like data analyst or designer, or what are the roles defined? And in that roles, how much technicality will be defined and how much functionality, more functional roles will be defined in an organization or technical? I just want to know. And the technical, if it is technical more, is there any prerequisites for that so that I should be knowing that before learning this MDG, SAP MDG, and how it is? You mentioned some ABAP also is there. So how much? Because I don't have a background related to SAP ABAP, and that's my out and out question actually.
Okay. So see, whenever when we are working in an organization, so some organization they say we require techno-functional consultant. Some will say I will require functional consultant. Some will say we require technical consultant. Okay, so these are the three roles that the organizations, whenever they give the what to say positions, so they will give you in this format: techno functional. So when we have the opening of techno functional, it they are asked to do all the roles like understand the business, understanding from the business, implementing the solutions, delivering the solutions. So that will comes under techno functional. That who can become a techno functional? The person who has worked in SAP ABAP for last 3 to 4 years, who know SAP ABAP OOPS concept, who has worked on the technical parts. So they can become as a and also they have not only technical, they know the business process also. And so when we are working with a technical, so mostly we get a chance to work on the BP, designing the solution for BP or finance or material. So that times you get some expertise in functional side also. So by knowing getting that experience or putting your extra efforts, you become as a techno functional. Now coming to the functional part, who is something that person who has directly worked on SAP MDM. So SAP MDM person, they know the business process that was which was happening in their SAP MDM tool, but they are not aware about SAP MDM. They are not aware about the SAP ABAP language. So they can go for the functional expertise as a SAP MDG functional expertise. So whenever their position comes for looking for SAP functional, so when we say functional, they are full responsible. Similarly, like as I say, techno functional, they are full responsible only from the functional point of view, gathering the requirement, understanding the requirement, getting the requirement done from the business, done from the technical team, and then explaining the solution or what to say, delivering the solution to the client. But here, one thing is that they have to take help from technical to build a solution. So that differences comes when you are working as a functional consultant. And when a technical means you have to know the ABAP. ABAP without ABAP you cannot do the technical expertise. So you have to know the basic ABAP and you have to be good in ABAP at least for 4 to 5 years. Then only you can become a MDG consultant. Does it answer your question?
Prem. Understood. And when it comes to functional, a little bit more, functional in the sense we are going to in-depth dive about the business knowledge on material master and customer and vendor master or financial, all these four, as of my understanding, all these four in-depth knowledge or in-depth topics is going to covered in this in the training sessions. Am I right?
No, no. So
Or in?
training session will not cover you in depth knowledge. Training
Mm-hmm.
session will give you how this is done in SAP MDG, specific to SAP MDG, how this is done. Because that's
Uh-huh.
why I asked you, what's your experience, prior
Exactly.
experience.
Okay.
Anyone, whoever is working in what to say, they are required at least to know the business knowledge on their respective topics on which they are, because training is only for 30 35 hours or 40 hours max, and we cannot cover all in depth of BP, finance, everything cannot be covered. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In MDG perspective, you are going to cover whichever needed for that. Am I right?
Yes, in MDG, whatever topic, whatever the requirement, whatever the roles and responsibility that you need to do your tasks, day-to-day tasks in your company for SAP MDG,
Okay.
that will be covered in this training.
Okay. Understood. Thanks. That's the question. Thanks a lot.
Oh,
Uh, Prem, can you go back to slide 11, please? So these are the steps we would start our training in. Like we'll first go through data modeling and then UI modeling. These are the steps of the our training.
yes. So these are the main topics. So subtopics one, it will be a starting point will be like this only. I can say.
Okay. And which component would have material master, vendor master, customer master?
All components. So this is a generic point. Every whenever we are doing a training, so from the start only we are going to cover whichever the module will be suggesting or will be working. Like if you have experience in we'll be covering If you're experienced in customer or vendor, we'll be covering BP. If you're experienced in finance, we'll be covering the finance part from the
Okay.
start, so that it covers your end-to-end process flow, how it works in SAP MDG, just like a project, how you deliver your project, so that in the end, at the end of the training, you know how MDG works for this particular module.
Okay.
Any questions?
Last question, just maybe a repeated one. Exactly, is there the what about the prerequisites? Huh? Like I should know this, you should have knowledge on this. Anything is there to start the course? I should be aware of
So
completely.
you have worked in which what is your sorry, I missed. So you have worked in migration, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So see, the prerequisite is like if you the process flow, like whichever module, like if you say that I have done the migration of SAP then how process works when you create a supply a material. So what are the things that material requires? So in order to configure a material, what are the things that you'll need? Like I'll need a material type, different types of material. So how to configure a material types, from who will, because you are working in MDG, so then someone will ask you, can you create a material type for me? Then who is going to show me? You must know the process to create a material type. So now suppose someone asks that, okay, I don't have plant, who is I don't have the plant of material. So who is how to create a plant in a, how to create a plant, how to configure the plant. So you must know the process how to configure the plants so that the business can use the plant. If you don't know, like if sometimes So these are the configuration part, the basic, what in order to create a material, what you require, what are the prerequisite to create a material, that is something you must know. I'm not only on material, even not only material. If you are
Understood.
we are talking about business partner also. So in order to
Yeah,
create a business partner, I require a sales org or purchase org. So how I can create a sales org? How I can create a purchase org? Only configuration, huh? Not the transactional, only configuration part. So that basic information we should have.
sure. Thanks, Prem.
No question? Any questions more? Okay, so I hope you got some good understanding of how SAP MDG, what is SAP MDG.
Yeah,
So we'll
it
stop
makes
here
sense.
for today, and
Thanks.
let's see. Then we'll connect. You can connect with Naveen for further queries.
Sure, Prem. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks.